Meet Dr. Dozy Mmuobosi, a 45-year-old based in London, England, making waves in the global finance industry. Apart from being the co-CEO of Tingo Group, Dr. Dozy is also the CEO of AgriFintech and Tingo International Holdings, TIH. The Nigerian tech entrepreneur is also the brains behind Tingo Mobile and Tingo Foods, two sister companies that are valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. Before his current stint at Tingo Group, Dr. Dozy was the CEO of Tingo Group Holdings LLC. This is a big firm that oversees African subsidiaries like Tingo Mobile Limited and Tingo Foods PLC. But Dr. Dozy Mmobuosi isn't just a financial figurehead at the helm of a billion-dollar tech company. He's at the center of a major financial scandal that has caught the attention of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. Coming up next is a high-stakes drama that involves deceit, inflated figures, and a complex scheme that has left investors scratching their heads. The ensuing financial drama that has got the attention of the financial regulators is orchestrated by four main players. Dr. Dozy Mmobuosi is the co-CEO of Tingo Group. He's also the CEO of AgriFintech, the CEO of Tingo International Holdings, and founder of Tingo Mobile and Tingo Foods. But before becoming a co-CEO of Tingo Group, he served as the CEO of a subsidiary of Tingo Group, known as Tingo Group Holdings LLC. Incorporated in Nevada in 2015 and now headquartered in Utah, AgriFintech claims to be an agri-fintech company. The company was originally known as iWeb Inc. and focused on providing coding technologies to users in Thailand. Incorporated in Delaware in 2002 and headquartered in New Jersey, Tingo Group claims to be a fintech, agri-fintech, and food processing company. The company was originally known as Lapis Technology Inc., but went through name changes and acquisitions. In December 2022, MICT acquired Tingo Mobile and changed its name to Tingo Group Inc. The company is registered with the SEC and trades on Nasdaq under the symbol TIO. Tingo International Holdings is a Delaware corporation based in Stamford, Connecticut. The firm was established in January 2020 as a US holding company for Tingo Mobile, and Dr. Dozy has been its CEO since it was founded. TIH owned all of Tingo Mobile until it was sold to AgriFintech in August 2021. Now, these four central players are supported by two further companies. The first company is Tingo Mobile Limited, a Nigerian corporation that was founded by Dr. Dozy in 2001. According to information available, this company provided mobile handsets to users in West Africa. Tingo Mobile Limited changed hands between 2021 and 2022. First off, the parent company, Tingo International Holdings, sold it to AgriFintech in 2021. And then in 2022, AgriFintech sold Tingo Mobile Limited to Tingo Group. Today, Tingo Mobile Limited is a subsidiary of Tingo Group Inc. The next company is Tingo Foods PLC, which is a Nigerian corporation that was also founded by Dr. Dozy in September 2022. The company claims to operate a food processing business and is one of the largest players in Africa in that sector. In February 2023, Dr. Dozy sold Tingo Foods to Tingo Group. And today, Tingo Foods PLC is a subsidiary of Tingo Group, where Dr. Dozy is a co-CEO. Before the scandal unfolded, Dr. Dozy was a rising tech billionaire. Media outlets like Forbes and GQ magazine extensively covered his ventures and portrayed him as a successful entrepreneur and visionary. In 2023, Dr. Dozy shocked the world when he offered to buy Sheffield United, an English Premier football team, for £90 million. Now, this was the first time that most people were hearing of the name of the tech billionaire. The Sheffield United buyout was going through. In late February 2023, media outlets like the BBC were reporting that it was just a matter of time before Sheffield United got a new owner.
Let me say this, the deal is still on. Just like every other or any other transaction, things can happen. But in the last 1 week, we've been talking, and we've come to a conclusion now, and the deal is ongoing.
However, the buyout failed as allegations of fraud were raised against Dr. Dozy. Now let's rewind back to 2001 when Dr. Dozy started Tingo Mobile in Nigeria. The company claims to lease mobile phones to farmers through deals with farming cooperatives in both Nigeria and Ghana. The company's business model is simple. It leases handsets to farmers, offers airtime and data services, and has a unique Nwassa platform. The Nwassa platform is meant to help farmers with crop sales, pricing, and bill payments. By 2019, Tingo Mobile said it had deals with 2 Nigerian farming cooperatives, specifically the Ilog Royal Family Multipurpose Cooperative and the KBI Multipurpose Cooperative Society. Supposedly, both cooperatives had millions of members who leased cell phones from Tingo. The KBI Multipurpose Cooperative Society is located in the Nigerian state of Kebbi. Tingo claimed to have more than 4.5 million customers from this cooperative. But according to official government website, the entire state of Kebbi only has a population of just 3.2 million people. With the huge number of farmers allegedly using the platform, Dr. Dozy planned to get Tingo Mobile into the US capital markets. In February of 2020, he created Tingo International Holdings, TIH, as Tingo Mobile's US holding company and its only shareholder. To meet US listing standards, Mmobuosi added governance control. For example, there was some board shakeups. He brought in new members to the board and even hired a chief financial officer. But despite the many questions surrounding Tingo Mobile's financial records, Mmobuosi still wanted TIH to join Nasdaq. So on September 30th, 2020, TIH formally applied to join Nasdaq. But there were some delays and TIH never got listed. In August of 2021, a public company known as iWeb Inc. acquired Tingo Mobile from TIH. This in effect made Tingo Mobile a public company. iWeb Inc. then changed its name to AgriFintech, and Tingo Mobile became its main subsidiary from August 2021 to November 2022. In December 2022, AgriFintech sold Tingo Mobile to MICT Inc. After the merger, MICT rebranded as Tingo Group Inc., trading on Nasdaq under the symbol TIO. Dr. Dozy Mmuobosi became the CEO of a subsidiary of Tingo Group known as Tingo Group Holdings. In September 2023, he was named the co-CEO of Tingo Group. Since then, AgriFintech has been operating as a holding company for its Tingo Group stock. The company now plans to liquidate and distribute its Tingo Group stock to shareholders. Mmuobosi owns a controlling stake in AgriFintech, which will hold 75% of Tingo Group after converting preferred shares received in the December 2022 merger with MICT. However, Tingo Mobile is not what it claims to be. The information about its money, customers, and business is mostly made up. The companies in charge of Tingo Mobile have been lying to investors by showing fake financial details. Since 2019, Mmobuosi has been providing falsified financial records for Tingo Mobile. These records had purportedly been audited. They had signatures of different auditors, each claiming to have scrutinized the company's financial position. But the truth of the matter is that none of those papers underwent actual audits, and the signatures were nothing but elaborate forgeries. In December 2019 and January 2020, Mmobuosi photoshopped Tingo Mobile's financial records, giving them a clean bill of health. The company that had purportedly audited these new records was not even an accounting firm. The fake documents made it seem that Tingo Mobile was in a good financial position. Between August and November 2020, Mmobuosi doctored some more financial records for Tingo Mobile, but this time in dollars. The records were supposedly audited by a firm registered by the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, PCAOB. But yet again, the figures presented in the records were full of fabrications. At the time, Christoph Chalia was the chairman of the board of Tingo Group Inc. When he got those financial records, he wondered why the numbers kept changing every time. He inquired from Dr. Dozy about the numbers and requested supporting documentation. Specifically, the board chairman wanted to check full bank statements to understand the cash balances indicated in the financial statements. But Dr. Dozy, the CEO of Tingo Group, kept dodging his requests. Instead of providing bank statements, he provided a one-page bank statement from a Nigerian bank where Tingo Mobile did its main transactions. And as expected, the one page was also a fake. Mmobuosi had doctored the numbers to make it look like hundreds of billions of naira were being transacted. Christoph Chalia also wanted to check out Tingo Mobile phone and the special software that farmers were using. But even though Tingo Mobile claimed to have leased phones to over 9 million farmers, Mmobuosi never handed one over to Christoph to check. He also forbade Tingo staff, particularly the heads of department, from talking to Christoph. If the chairman wanted to know something, he would have to come directly to him. During the summer of 2020, as Tingo International Holdings was getting ready to join New York Stock Exchange, Dr. Dozy Mmobuosi was back at his Photoshop pastime. This time, TIH owned Tingo Mobile. The company presented financial records for the first half of 2020, claiming that they had been audited by the same company that audited Tingo Mobile's recent financial statements. Remember, the supposedly auditor company had no accounting background. On September 2, 2020, Mmobuosi showed a draft of TIH's financial statement for the first half of 2020 to the board chair, Christoph Chalia. According to the statements, Tingo International Holdings had made $574 million and had $220 million in cash. The company also reported a loss of $146 million in 6 months. But Christoph was feeling something wasn't right. He was getting concerned about the sudden change in the financial performance of Tingo Mobile and Tingo International Holdings. But as usual, Dr. Dozy had an explanation for this. He said that these latest financial statements hadn't been audited nor confirmed by Tingo International Holdings Chief Financial Officer. 2 weeks later, on September 16, 2020, Mmobuosi submitted revised statements showing TIH financial position. This time, the statements showed that TIH made a profit of $126 million and had a cash balance of $60,000. No explanation was given as to why the profit and cash numbers had suddenly changed. While Tingo Mobile looked like it had a lot of money in the bank, it couldn't pay its bills. Service providers and staff are complaining of non-payment. On September 18, 2020, just 2 days after Mmobuosi produced the new financial statements, Tingo International Holdings Chief Financial Officer resigned from his position. Dr. Dozy continued preventing independent audits on Tingo International Holdings financial records. Christoph, the board chairman got in touch with one of the accounting firms that audited TIH accounts. He wanted them to provide a true picture of the financial position of the company. However, when he contacted the auditor, he was redirected to confirm the information from Dr. Dozy. Dr. Dozy would later go on to caution Christophe against talking to TIH auditors without prior approval from the management. Other information that Dr. Dozy was frugal with included key workers, how Tingo International Holdings did business, their accounting practices, and much more. But to calm worries down, Mmuobosi told Christophe that he was considering hiring a US-based accounting firm to check everything. He promised that the firm will finish the check before TIH joined the US market. But like is expected, the board and the TIH audit committee never got the promised report from the firm. In mid-2021, instead of directly listing its shares, Tingo International Holdings opted for a different route by merging with a publicly traded company. Dr. Dozy capitalized on the success of Tingo Mobile, which had been through fabricated financials, and persuaded AgriFintech to acquire Tingo Mobile at $3.7 billion. This move gave Tingo International Holdings, and indirectly Mr. Mmuobosi himself, control over AgriFintech and nearly 1 billion shares of its stock. The acquisition was announced on July 30, 2021. During the announcement, AgriFintech highlighted TIH's claimed total revenue of $616 million in 2020 and expressed confidence in surpassing these figures in the coming years. The press release also emphasized Tingo Mobile's purported achievements, stating it had over 9 million subscribers and supplied almost 30 million devices since 2014. But things were not rosy at Tingo International Holdings. Christophe Charlier, the chairman of the board, and another member of the TIH audit committee resigned. Next was the departure of the chief technology officer from the company due to non-payment and concerns about the company's unverified revenue and customer base. But despite all this, the merger proceeded and was completed in August 2021. Dr. Mmuobosi celebrated the merger as an international recognition of TIH in the global capital markets. Dr. Mmuobosi launched Tingo Foods in September 2022, portraying it as a food processing business that was sourcing raw crops from Nigerian farmers. However, it seems to be another deceptive entity similar to Tingo Mobile. In February 2023, Mmuobosi personally sold Tingo Foods to Tingo Group for a record $204 million through a promissory note. Basically, he sold his company to his company for $204 million. Talk about keeping it in the family. And the script of Tingo Foods' financial records was the same as that of Tingo Mobile. For example, bank statements showed that Tingo Food had over $400 million in revenue and $54.7 million in cash by the end of 2022. Other documents showed significant financial activity by Tingo Foods. But investigations have revealed that the company didn't open its operating bank account until February 2023. Actual bank statements obtained from the bank reveal minimum transactions and a balance of just $20 as of September 15, 2023. Between August 2021 to November 2022, AgriFintech engaged in deliberate deception. The company used Tingo Mobile's fictitious financial statements to significantly inflate reported earnings, revenues, and expenses. AgriFintech and Tingo Group messed up big time by not having proper systems to keep their financial records in check. This lack of internal controls allowed a sneaky fraudulent scheme to go on for way too long, stretching from AgriFintech controlling Tingo Mobile to Tingo Group overseeing Tingo Foods. The consequences were pretty serious, as fake transactions slipped into the records without anyone noticing. This not only messed up their financial reports, but also raised questions about the transparency of their dealings with some third parties. Now, fast forward to June 2023. A researcher at Hindenburg Research is looking at Tingo Group financials and realizes something is amiss. He goes ahead and calls the company a potential scam. This revelation hit Tingo Group hard, tanking their share prices. The company tried to do damage control by denying the allegations and even bringing in independent investigators, but their claims were proven false by legit bank records. Things got even wilder when Mmobuosi was appointed as co-CEO of Tingo Group. The company claimed it had a good financial standing to afford the new co-CEO's salary. But the truth of the matter is, its bank accounts only had $91. There were no hundreds of millions of dollars that they had bragged about. The drama continued. The chief financial officer of Tingo Holdings quit, and Nasdaq suspended trading of Tingo stocks due to suspicions about the accuracy of the information. The company tried to pull a positive earnings report on November 14, 2023, but the SEC was on their tail with subpoenas. The fraud dance was going on, even with the regulators shining a spotlight on Tingo Group. And with the house falling down, Dr. Dozy Mmobuosi has started selling his stock positions, particularly in agri-fintech. Between May and July 2023, he sold over 10 million shares, earning over $2 million in proceeds. But he did not disclose these sales through a Form 4. Various filings show that Mmobuosi and the entities he controls have sold or transferred significant amounts of agri-fintech and Tingo Group stocks, totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. The entrepreneur is likely to acquire additional Tingo Group shares through agri-fintech's announced liquidation. As the strongman in the web of deceit, Dr. Dozy misappropriated assets from Tingo Group, including advancing himself $10 million through an attorney trust account. He claimed the money was used to pay a supplier, allegations that the supplier has refuted to investigators. Dozy also transferred $16 million from Tingo Group to one of his personal accounts for his use. This money was used to purchase luxury vehicles, live a jet-setting lifestyle, and even bid for the Sheffield United FC. The SEC is seeking to hold Dr. Dozy accountable for his actions. To begin, it seeks an immediate halt to any fraudulent activities by Dr. Dozy and his associates. The Commission wants to temporarily freeze any assets that are tied to the fraud and prevent the misuse or transfer of funds during the investigation. The Commission is also pushing for the return of any ill-gotten gains derived from the alleged fraudulent scheme. They are urging the court to stop Tingo Group, agri-fintech, and Tingo International Holdings from making any money transfers or issuing new shares to Dozy and his associates. To safeguard the integrity of the investigation, the SEC is requesting a temporary halt on the destruction or concealment of relevant documents. Financial penalties, including the disgorgement of unjust gains with interest, are also being sought. In the long term, the Securities Exchange Commission is seeking permanent measures to restrict Dozy's corporate roles, preventing him from serving as an officer or director in any specific types of companies. The SEC is hard at work trying to pin Dr. Dozy for his alleged crimes, and Dr. Mmobuosi is hard at work protecting his integrity and the future of his companies. And the saga continues.